across the UK, on DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
And let's speak with the barrister and legal director at UK Lawyers for Israel. Natasha Hausdorff is back with us. Natasha, good to see you again. I'm sure you were delighted to hear Mr. Trump make those or reaffirm his position in the sense of not recognising Palestine. But give us then your reaction to Keir Starmer, who said this for a long time, but now it's official. We join other countries that recognises a terrorist-run area of this globe as a country, despite, I should add, it not ticking any of the boxes that actually constitutes a country.
Yes, well, the president's remarks were perhaps uncharacteristically diplomatic in the circumstances when one considers that the Prime Minister's position, as I think we may have previously discussed, ultimately does throw international law out of the window. Remarkable and hypocritical, one might think, for a lawyer and certainly a government that has professed an undying commitment to international law.
Sure.
So this is an announcement that is plainly driven by politics. I would perhaps suggest internal politics as opposed to international politics. But apart from undermining the international legal system, the legal order, and fundamentally encouraging Hamas, prolonging this conflict, enhancing the suffering for Palestinians and Israelis alike, I think there's also a very damaging impact to the interests of the United Kingdom here. This is ultimately self-harm for the UK. And I say that because Mahmoud Abbas, the president of the Palestinian Authority, it's not clear, of course, who it is that Starmer is intending to recognise, but he said he opposes Hamas, so one is left with the so-called moderates in this equation, nonetheless the terrorist supporters of the Palestinian Authority, headed by Mahmoud Abbas, who does have a long track record of threatening to sue the United Kingdom. So providing him, even with an unsound basis, because of course the Palestinians do not have a state, but certainly providing him with an additional basis to perhaps pursue the UK, as he has previously threatened, as a form of state, is certainly not something that can possibly be in the national interests. And it brings to mind other issues that this government has pursued, of course, the Chagos issue, arising from very similar circumstances, an advisory opinion, not legally binding on the UK. Yeah. Nonetheless, perhaps, as many have argued, an act of self-harm by the United Kingdom. And I think we may be seeing more to come.
It's almost as if they don't know what they're doing, for goodness sake. I mean, on that point, though, Natasha, what do you imagine is, as you rightly said, Keir Starmer, he's not a stupid man. He's a bit of senior lawyer himself, head of the DPP, etc. He understands stuff, even if we find some of his decisions profoundly wonky in their execution. But he must have a logic himself. There must be, within his own framework of reality, he must have a reason why he thinks it's right and correct that the United Kingdom recognises a Palestinian state. What do you imagine that reason would be?
Well, seeking to put myself, into the mind of Keir Starmer, as terrifying as that prospect might be, I think it must ultimately come down to this: that the International Legal Academy, the international legal cabal, in some respects, has shifted very substantially through a political motivation, it seems to me, because it's not consistent with what real international law actually says. And this sort of dogma, this sort of everybody says approach, everybody says is not how you run a legal system, Ian, it's how you run a lynch. And increasingly that sentiment has been pervasive across, first of all, as I say, the International Legal Academy and increasingly international legal institutions, as they are being taken over, weaponized, abused even to pursue a political agenda. So I think that's definitely got to be part of the equation. The fact that this is politics on an international scale, very much directing how international law is being abused here and weaponized. But we cannot escape escape the domestic situation and the threats that the Prime Minister faces within his own party, to his own party, the fact that we have 5 independent MPs that essentially stood on a Gaza-only platform, that is immense political pressure. But the big question has to be, what is in the interests of the United Kingdom? Not, frankly, the interests of a few individuals who are seeking to pursue a political agenda, a personal political agenda. At the heart of government.
And I can't for the life of me, I mean, it's quite obvious where my colours are planted on this, but trying to be objective, I simply cannot see in what interest this is, or whose interest this might be. Listen, Natasha, lovely to have you on again. Have a great weekend. Thank you for your time. She is Natasha Hausdorff, barrister, legal director at UK Lawyers for Israel.